All right. Hello. We are looking at the worksheet that says 6.1 assignment. It says page 77 at the bottom of the page. It is one sheet front and back. Excuse me a minute. Excuse me, guys. Trying to talk here. You may have it. I put it into the district mail. You may not. You may need to work on something else and come back to this. But it's the 6.1 assignment, a review of systems of equations. All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Wesley owns a dairy farm. Ah. Go ahead, Jerry.
Okay.
But Andy owns the dairy farm.
Yeah, I own it. I own the cows.
You and Jerry work it out. I don't care.
Jerry, you got it.
I just need some.
All right, go here.
Wesley owns a dairy farm. In the morning, it takes him 0.
Excuse me. I know it's taking a little while to get started here, but we are starting. I need you to be quiet and listen to Jerry. Oscar, could you be quiet and listen to Jerry? Thank you.
Wesley owns a dairy farm. All directions from Brody. Or the teacher.
Okay.
You're not following directions from either right now, so.
I'm not even saying.
Oscar has a new haircut and he's getting a little salty on us. I don't know. Okay. Welcome back, Oscar. Okay, welcome back, Oscar. Here we go. We're focusing on Jerry. We're hearing about the dairy farm.
Okay.
In the morning, it takes them 1/3 of an hour to set up for milking the cows. Once they get set up, it takes Wesley 0.2 hour to milk each cow again. He is contemplating purchasing a milking machine in hopes that it will speed up the milking process. The milking machine he is considering will take 0.4 hour to set up each morning and takes 0.05 hour to milk each. Why don't they just say this in minutes? I don't know.
Because ultimately, when you're talking about milking cows, you're going to be milking a lot of them. So the end result is going to be an answer in hours. An answer in minutes makes sense for one cow. Chapter 6 are systems of equations, more than one equation. The equations describe situations. What are the two situations we need to sort out info and write an equation for?
The prediction and the present time of how long it's taking to milk the cows.
It has something to do with how long to predict, but that's not all of it. Good job starting, Jerry.
How long it takes him to set up by hand and milk the cows by hand, and then how long it takes to set up the machine and then milk the cows using the machine.
Okay, so by hand or by machine. The first one they talk about is by hand. And so let's call this the hand per unit time. Oh, I don't know if that's like the H of T. Okay, if they're milking it by hand, how long is it going to take? Actually, it's not per unit time. What's the per hour for each cow. This is going to depend on the number of cows. The time is kind of the end result answer. So H of C. Okay, now going back up to where he talks about by hand, it takes him 0.3 hours to set up. Put a box around that. 0.3 hours to set up the barn if he's going to milk by hand. Once he has it set up, it takes 0.2 hours to milk each cow. Put a box around that. So those are the two pieces of information that we need. We usually put the per cow piece first because it's going to have a variable. 0.2 per cow. Plus the amount it takes to set up the barn. It takes you the same amount of time to set up the barn if you're doing 1 cow or 200 cows. All right, so what's the amount of time it takes to set up the barn before they even start milking? Okay, but we're doing things in hours. 0.3 hours. So this is the setup time, and this is the milking time. All together, it gives us a total amount of time when you're milking by hand. It does depend on how many cows. 1 cow, you're going to be a smaller number than 400 cows, okay? Now, we're going to do the same thing for working by machine. Machine time. We'll call it M of C. I'm going to put a little note over here. This is by hand, so I remember my scenario. This is by machine. Okay? And I'm also going to make a little note to myself. C equals number of cows. All right? So what's the amount of time? Let's go back to our thing. The milking machine takes 0.4 hours to set up and takes 0.05 hours for each cow. That's the part we're going to write first. And it looks like this, 0.05 C. We need to multiply it by the number of cows. If you're doing 1 cow, it's only a little bit. If you're doing a whole bunch of cows, it's a lot. Plus setup time, 0.4. So it's a little bit easier or less time to set the barn up if you're going to work by hand. Okay? But not too much. Okay, pretty close to the same amount of time. But look at this, 0.2 versus 0.05. This is a small number. Okay, so not very much time per cow if you're milking by machine. Because you can get more than one of them going at the same time, just one guy. All right, but if you're doing it by hand, you got 0.2 for every cow, and this is a bigger amount of time. He said it's 18 minutes, so he looked and converted that 1/5 of an hour into minutes, and it's 18 minutes per cow. This is much smaller than that. All right? Compare the equations in the system you wrote. Explain what they mean in terms of the problem situation. That's you. Right now, 1 minute at your table talking about the equations. What do the pieces of the equations mean? Write something down. 1 minute. Is it going to take 1 or is it going to take 2?
2.
This might be
1 minute.
You can do it. 1 minute. Ready, go.
47.
What do those equations mean in the situation? I really think it's going to be a 2-minute job. I'm setting it for 2. If we finish early, great. Okay, you're writing the words. What these equations mean.
Does that mean like?
Does this mean, what does the other part mean? 0.2. You see that part?
No. Yeah, there's one. What do you
You can't? Do I need to put you up? Oh, is that a 2? I just didn't see it. It looked like CC. Okay, so top right now at your table. Top right now.
Did a circle around the table and walk up? With this hand in his pocket.
Yes.
Is this supposed to be like central? Or are you supposed to just like write out that hand?
You're going to say something like the 0.3 and 0.4 show you how much it takes to set up the barn.
Or
0.2 C and the 0.05 C tells you how much per cow. Okay, you're going to talk about this equation and what does it mean in this situation.
What do we do?
Okay, you're talking, right?
feels like you
Good. Can you talk to the people here if you're an expert and have it done? You guys have got some ideas there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Talk. We need to write something down. Kenya's on it. Maybe you guys need to make friends and talk to Kenya. Okay. Have a seat. If you can hear me, snap once. Now, Andy, what'd you write?
I don't want to read it all.
Okay, read a part of it.
Well, the 0.3 setup is faster than the 0.4 setup, but 0.05 milk time is faster than 0.2 hours of milking.
The 0.3 setup is faster than am I getting too close to the edge? I'll bring it up higher. 0.4 setup, but the 0.05, I'm going to say per cow, because I'm putting things into words that we have in symbols right now, is way faster than the 0.2 per cow. For milking by, what was 0.2? Was that by hand or by machine?
0.2 is by hand.
By hand. Okay. Are we good to there? Graph both equations on the coordinate plane. Let's use our calculators to help us out. On. Clear. See where we are on time on this one. We've got time for this side. Well, maybe we'll.
We got 20 minutes.
Okay, here we go.